The difference between hell and the lake of fire. Point 1. Terminology and mention. Terminology and mention of hell. In the New Testament, the term hell is understood through a few Greek terms, each carrying a distinct meaning. The first Greek word, Hades. This term often parallels the Hebrew concept of Sheol from the Old Testament. Both words can refer to the general realm of the dead. However, certain New Testament passages, especially Jesus' teachings, depict Hades as a place of torment for the wicked prior to the final judgment, as seen in the parable of the rich man and Lazarus, as seen in Luke 16:19-31. The second Greek word, Gehenna, derived from the Hebrew Gehennom, or Valley of Hinnom. This location outside Jerusalem historically functioned as a refuse dump where fires constantly burned. Due to its notorious past, including being a site for pagan rituals, it became a symbolic representation of the final place of punishment for the unrighteous. Jesus frequently used Gehenna to describe the eternal consequences of sin, marked by the imagery of unquenchable fire and destruction, as seen in Matthew 5:29-30. And if thy right eye offend thee, pluck it out, and cast it from thee. For it is profitable for thee that one of thy members should perish, and not that the whole body should be cast into hell. And if thy right hand offend thee, cut it off, and cast it from thee. For it is profitable for thee that one of thy members should perish, and not that the whole body should be cast into hell. The third Greek word, Tartarus, mentioned once in 2 Peter 2:4. This term denotes a place where God cast some rebellious angels, holding them in chains until the day of judgment. 2 Peter 2:4. For if God spared not the angels that sinned, but cast them down to hell, and delivered them into chains of darkness, to be reserved unto judgment. To understand hell in the New Testament, it's crucial to recognize the multifaceted nature of its portrayal. While modern conceptions often merge these descriptions, the New Testament writers, influenced by their cultural and linguistic backgrounds, utilized a range of terms to convey various aspects of the afterlife and divine judgment. As always, understanding these terms in their proper biblical context is key to grasping the broader theological message of God's justice and the consequence of human sinfulness. Terminology and mention of the lake of fire. Exclusively mentioned in the New Testament's book of Revelation, the lake of fire carries apocalyptic significance. This fiery lake symbolizes the ultimate fate of evil forces and the unredeemed. The imagery is intense and dramatic, evoking scenes of eschatological judgment. The beast, false prophet, devil, death, Hades, and those not found in the book of life are all destined for this lake, emphasizing its role as a place of final, eternal punishment. Unlike Sheol or Hades, which carry a sense of temporariness, the lake of fire is depicted as the conclusive destiny for evil. Its mention in Revelation serves both as a warning and a proclamation of the final triumph of God's justice over evil. Point 2. Function and timing. The function and timing of hell, Hades. Within Christian eschatology, the precise nature and function of Hades are subjects of theological discourse, but the New Testament provides insights. Functionally, Hades serves as an interim destination for unrighteous souls, between their physical death and the forthcoming final judgment. It isn't merely a passive place. It's a realm characterized by suffering and anguish, a preliminary form of judgment. The function and timing of the lake of fire. As the New Testament narrative unfolds, particularly in the apocalyptic visions of Revelation, we encounter the lake of fire, a far more definitive and unalterable destination than Hades. Often referred to as the second death, its implications are profoundly eternal. After the momentous event of the Great White Throne Judgment, described in Revelation 20:11-15, the unrighteous, those not inscribed in the book of life, are cast into this lake. This is not a transient or intermediary phase, but the final destiny of eternal separation from God. The lake's title, the second death, symbolizes an end, not just of physical life, but also an eternal separation from God's presence. This distinction between hell and the lake of fire is pivotal in Christian eschatology. While hell is a temporary place of suffering, the lake of fire represents an unalterable, eternal location for the unrighteous. Point 3. Occupants. The occupants of hell, as outlined in various New Testament passages, primarily consist of the souls of the unrighteous dead. These souls are in a state of expectancy, awaiting the final great white throne judgment. It is essential to understand that hell does not stand for eternal damnation, but is rather a temporary abode. The parable of the rich man and Lazarus, found in Luke 16, provides us with a sobering look into the realities of hell. It's clear from the narrative that memories remain intact, even in the afterlife. As Abraham tells the rich man in Luke 16:25, "Son, remember that in your lifetime you received good things, while Lazarus received bad things. But now he is comforted here, and you are in agony." This suggests that those in hell retain their memories. The past isn't forgotten. Memories do not die. They stay with those in hell. When the rich man enters his torment, he lifts up his eyes in Luke 16:23. This gives us reason to believe that there is an ability to see, and possibly witness, the unspeakable horrors present in that realm. Further reinforcing this idea of sensory experience, the rich man feels torment and expresses a deep thirst, exclaiming, "Father Abraham, have mercy on me, and send Lazarus, that he may dip the tip of his finger in water and cool my tongue, for I am tormented in this flame." Luke 16:24. We see that the occupants of hell have their physical senses intact. This implies that the agony experienced isn't just of a spiritual nature, but is physically tangible. Communication isn't lost either. The rich man's conversation with Abraham is a testament to this. Moreover, his concern for his family still on earth, specifically his request for Lazarus to warn his brothers, illuminates the awareness of earthly affairs and the enduring emotional connections. Luke 16:28. "For I have 5 brothers. Let him warn them, so that they will not also come to this place of torment." Therefore, we can conclude that the occupants of hell can feel, see, and remember. The occupants of the lake of fire. Revelation 19:20 underscores a fascinating and sobering fact. The first 2 occupants of the lake of fire. Intriguingly, these aren't mere mortals, but 2 notorious figures, the Antichrist and the false prophet. Revelation 19:20. "But the beast was captured, and with it the false prophet who had performed the signs on its behalf. With these signs, he had deluded those who had received the mark of the beast and worshipped its image. The 2 of them were thrown alive into the fiery lake of burning sulfur." The glaring aspect of this episode isn't just the identity of these 2 individuals, but the manner of their judgment. While many will face the great white throne judgment later, these 2 are cast directly into eternal punishment, bypassing the great white throne judgment. Their immediate and direct consignment to the lake of fire, without the customary judgment procedure, speaks volumes about the sheer magnitude of their evil. Their malevolent deeds and roles in leading countless souls astray are so severe that their fate is instantly sealed. This prompt divine action serves as a potent reminder to us of the depths of wickedness these 2 evil beings unleashed upon the world. When God bypasses the usual judgment to deal immediately with wrong, it underscores just how grievous that wrong is in His holy sight. The future inhabitants of the lake of fire will not only include humans who have rejected divine salvation, but a broader spectrum of spirit beings that have rebelled against God. The Revelation narrative provides a list. The devil and his fallen angels, demons, are its primary inhabitants, signifying the ultimate defeat of evil. We also see that death and hell itself were cast into the lake of fire. Revelation 20:14. And death and hell were cast into the lake of fire. This is the second death. Point 4. Duration. The duration of hell. The temporality of hell is a reoccurring theme in the New Testament, differentiating it from the eternal nature of the lake of fire. Hell serves as a transient holding place, a realm where souls of the unrighteous dwell before facing their ultimate judgment. This interim phase, while undoubtedly filled with suffering and consciousness, is not where souls remain indefinitely. As laid out in Revelation 20:13 and 14, the nature of the duration of hell becomes crystal clear. It releases its occupants for the great white throne judgment. The souls within hell are then judged based on their deeds, and following this judgment, hell itself meets its demise. It is cast into the lake of fire, signifying the end of its role in the cosmic narrative. The elimination of Hades epitomizes the end of the current order, making way for a new eternal order where there's a clear distinction between eternal life and eternal damnation. The duration of the lake of fire. In stark contrast to Hades' temporary duration, the lake of fire stands as the ultimate location of eternal separation from God. It's the destination for all entities, both supernatural and human, that have chosen to reject salvation. The New Testament, especially Revelation, emphasizes its unending nature. In Revelation 20:10, the devil, the beast, and the false prophet are said to be tormented day and night, forever and ever. This eternal aspect is further solidified in Revelation 21:8, where the fate of the cowardly, faithless, detestable, and all liars is described as a second death in the lake of fire. The concept of forever here is of immense significance. It's a timeless state, boundless and unending. The lake serves as a lasting testament to the seriousness of one's choices during their earthly existence. The eternal duration of the lake of fire serves as a harrowing reminder of the permanent consequences that come from rejecting God's offer of salvation.